Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, everyone is good and fine. We were not able to be together on Sunday's morning in the past week, so we prepared this slideshow and we will go through it together. Let's move to the next slide to start with the materials included in it. First of all, we will be doing and reciting the chapter of Al-Asr from the Quran Al-Karim. So the Quran chapter for today is Al-Asr. We start Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wal-Asr Inna al-insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawasaw bil-haqqi wa tawasaw bis-sabr. So the verses are in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Wal-Asr, by the time. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Inna, indeed. Al-insana, the man, is in loss. Lafi khusr. Al-khusr is the loss, when he's lost. إلا الذين آمنوا, except those who believed. الذين آمنوا, آمنوا are people who believed. وعملوا الصالحات, عملوا and did الصالحات, righteous deeds. وتواصوا بالحق, and advised, تواصوا, each other, they advised each other to truth, الحق, and advised each other, وتواصوا, to patience, بالصبر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. As we read the chapter of Al-Asr or Surah Al-Asr, we will find that Allah is promising that human is in loss, except for those who have special characteristics. So let's put a check mark on these characteristics, which He Azza wa Jal, Allah Azza wa Jal, mentions in this chapter, Surah Al-Asr. So we can see in the circles we have to. First one is advise each other to patience. Was it mentioned in the surah? Pray on time. Do your hajj. To be good to your parents. هو بر الوالدين in Arabic. Advising each other to truth. Pay sadaqah. To fast, fasting. Doing righteous deeds. And to believe in what He Azza wa Jal says. To believe, to be a mu'min. So is there any comment that it says Aminu billah, let's say, believe in God? So I ask you to put a check mark only on the characteristics that are mentioned in the Asr chapter. Note, all the previous mentioned points are important, and we must be acting based on them in our daily life and apply them. The question was only asking about those mentioned in Al-Asr Quran chapter. So Allah is promising that a human is in loss except for those who have special characteristics. These characteristics are, and take your time to solve it. Let's go to the next slide to see what are these characteristics. These characteristics which Allah Azza wa Jal mentions in his chapter Al-Asr are to advise each other to patience, advising each other to truth, and doing righteous deeds. And one indirect is to believe in what he sends and what he says. Because Allah said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. So those who believed, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, those who did righteous deeds, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ, and who advised each other to truth, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and advised each other to patience. صدق الله العلي العظيم. And now it's the story time. Let's go to the next slide. I was so happy when I saw my mom coming out from the gates of the airport. She came back from Hajj. I went back home and I didn't leave her. She brought me a bag full of gifts and stuff, all just for me. We sat with her, saw some pictures on her phone, and she started describing her journey. I felt excited. She described the Kaaba and what's around it, As-Safa and Al-Marwa path, and the cave of Hira, where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to worship Allah, and some other places, especially in Al-Madinah, where the grave of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is located. A wide smile was on her face. We can feel her happiness. For a while, something changed. She got sad, and a few tears dropped from her eyes. I wanted to ask for the reason, but she started by saying, "Look at these graves." She said, "Here are the graves of our beloved Imams, the infallibles, and grandsons of Rasulullah, in 8th of the 10th month of the Islamic year, 1344 Hijri, in the year 1925, the Wahhabi demolished the mosques which were built on top of their graves. Imam al-Hassan bin Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam, and Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, and Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, and many of the wives, uncles, and companions of the Prophet's grave were demolished as well. So, in 8th of Shawwal, the 8th day in the month after the month of Ramadan, it should be a remembrance day for this tragedy. In this image, we can see how the graves were before and after they demolished them and destroyed them. Its name, Jannatul Baqi'. I looked at my mom and recited Surah Al-Asr. Then I said, "Don't be sad. Those who did that will be put with those who lost in the hellfire." She smiled. I continued, "Keep your heart tied with happiness, since the day when Imam al-Hujjah al-Mahdi Ajalallah Farajahu al-Sharif will come back, we will be with him, with those who believed and did righteous deeds, and advised each other to truth, and advised each other to patience." Take a few minutes, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and think about injustice and the others' hatred against Shia. What would we do to help the word of truth be higher, and how? So we save our religion, history, thoughts, and everything related to our faith, our Prophet and his family. which all goes back to the main source, to Allah Azza wa Jal. We say at the end of this lesson, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, Allahumma ajjal liwaliyika al-faraj, Allahumma kun liwaliyika al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan, صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين، والحمد لله رب العالمين، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.